Welcome to this week's edition of Fun Activities in 5 Summer Edition. This week we're going to be talking about ways to take celebrations. I will link that video below. I did celebrations as a Fun Activities in 5 a few months ago, so you can go watch that original video if you don't know what I'm talking about, and take it and leverage it for something really specific and a little bit more. One thing that my students really enjoyed doing with celebrations was talking about birthdays. And I don't know about you, but in my class of 30, 35, everybody doesn't have a birthday every day. And a lot of times there are weeks when there's no birthdays. So students started asking, can I talk about my mom's birthday or my grandma's birthday or my best friend that's not in this class and doesn't go to this school's birthday? Yes. So we started celebrating other birthdays of people that we know. And students would say things like, I'm celebrating because my mom's birthday is in 14 days. And then I would take the opportunity to go, class, 14 days, how many weeks until so-and-so's mom's birthday? Oh, 2 weeks, because there are 7 days in 1 week. So there's 2 weeks or half of a month until their birthday. So I really started kind of focusing in on numbers. And then we would say, if their birthday is in 14 days, is their birthday in this current month or the next month? What date do you think their birthday is on if it's in 14 days? The 22nd, the 23rd, the 21st. Oh, it's the 22nd. Now we're getting all kinds of repetitions of numbers. Numbers are something that is super, super useful and necessary in life for students to know, but also it's something that's really boring to practice. Nobody wants to, when I was in Spanish class, we would do a lot of read your phone number or look up Papa John's phone number and practice phone numbers or practice reading this giant number, which is just not super useful. A lot of times in real life, you're not going to read a phone number as 720 million. You're going to say 720, right? So we want to just have practice with those numbers past 1 through 10. This was a great way to get lots of practice with numbers 1 to 31 and to help students make associations between days and weeks and months and put some critical thinking in it. Well, then we kind of ran out of, we hit a period where it was no one's birthday and kids would be like, my birthday's in 74 days. And I'm like, okay, even I can't do that math. I don't know when your birthday is, 2.5 months from now. So we had this one student who started looking up famous people's birthdays for that day. And it became kind of a new thing that we added to our celebrations routine. This student would come in and he'd be like, I want to celebrate that it's insert famous person's name here's birthday today. Then we would play a guessing game. We would say, how old do we think that person is? Do we think that person is still alive? A lot of times the people would not be alive because it would be like George Washington, which is fine. We would say, okay, George Washington, not alive. How old do you think George Washington would be if he was still alive? Then we started to get some practice into really big numbers, hundreds, 200s. If you're familiar with Spanish, you know that once you really get to the hundreds, you've kind of mastered everything up to 1,000. And at that point, you really just need the word for 1,000. And then you've mastered really everything up to 1,000,000 for the most part. So it's a great way to kind of work in hundreds for my students. Sometimes you get really, really old people and they'd be like, it's Cleopatra's birthday. How old would Cleopatra be if she was still alive? So it was a great way to kind of tie in some social studies, athletes, famous scientists, those kind of people, but also to get really big numbers practice. So if you're doing celebrations or you would like to try celebrations, this is a great thing for you to add so that you have something to do every day and so that you're able to tie in a little more specific content and not just the random things students are saying, but you're able to do things like focus on numbers or dates or months or any of those things with your students and able to make it a little more purposeful. If you don't know what celebrations are, go back and watch that first video and see how you can tie celebrations into your class. If you have watched that video, I hope this gives you another activity to do with celebrations this coming school year, and I will see you guys next time.